Welcome to The Divine Mess, a sanctuary where the dance of the empowered masculine and the divine feminine unfolds in all its glory. Join us as we delve into the heart of these cosmic energies, exploring their attributes and the profound impact they have on our lives. From the raw power of the masculine to the nurturing embrace of the feminine, we uncover the balance that leads to a life of abundance and joy. Our hosts, Curdy Deva Perriman and Tina Ryan, are your guides on this spiritual journey who blend science with soul to offer practical wisdom for harnessing your divine energy. We celebrate the beauty and imperfection, embracing the chaos of life's journey as a catalyst for growth. The Divine Mess isn't just a podcast, it's a movement towards wholeness and self-expression. So come laugh with us, cry with us, and grow with us. Every episode is an invitation to explore the depths of your being and to live out loud, authentically, and unapologetically. Subscribe and join our community of seekers as we support each other in this extraordinary, messy adventure we call life. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I always miss the beginning somehow. If this is the first time tuning in, welcome to the Divine Mess, where we have some very enlightening conversations, as we did with our guest last week. But before we get into that, if this is the first time that you are joining us, if the universe helped you press the button for today, then I would like to introduce myself. My name is Tina Marie, and I'm a self-love coach, and I help women deal with moving through separation and divorce and redefining their second season. And as always, I am joined by my very gorgeous co-host, Mr. Curdy David Perriman, who is the cosmic alchemist at the Golden Temple, but that is only one label that this lovely gentleman holds. He is a published author. He is a Tai Chi practitioner, triathlete, karate master, just you name it. He does it all. And he's also Mauritian and French speaking. So the voice is just very dulcet and lovely to listen to. So I'll hand it over to him and he can fill in the rest of the gaps. I'm sure there's plenty more, but it's somewhere to start at least anyway.
I will give an A+ to that introduction. Well done, Tina.
Excellent. Thank you.
No, it's just lovely. Thank you so much for your beautiful introduction, as always. I feel very blessed to have this conversation with you because it feels like we have not been recording for a while.
I know.
And it was like just a few days technically, but it's like it's and it felt because we have been doing recording back to back, yet you won't know, but like the audience won't realize it, but it's just so much fun when you're having those conversation constantly and then every 2 days or on a daily basis, and it's like, and when it doesn't happen, you're like, oh, there's something like really missing from my day.
Something's missing.
And that's how it felt like for a few, not well, few days or more.
I know it was close to a week, right? And it's
Yeah, it was
just
close to
I'm
a
sending
week.
messages going, something's missing. I haven't spoken to you in a while, Can we have a conversation? Oh, that's right. We're having a conversation tomorrow. Oh, good. Tick that box.
Yeah, it's all done. But that's how it feels when we hold space as well for our beautiful guests that are coming in. And last week we had Natasha, who is like this amazing soul, I would say. I'm not going through the bio because honestly, I don't need to.
I don't think the bio really describes it. Well, we underrate ourselves when we write a bio, really, don't we? And what I read versus what we got, very, very different. I mean, I'm sure it is a facet of who she is and what she does, but I just loved her raw, real honesty, no holes barred, just straight up. This is my life. This is what I'm dealing with. And this is how I help Others deal with their shitty Netflix specials that they call a life, right? So
But
yeah, I really loved her energy, and an hour went so quickly,
yeah,
and it was just lovely having a conversation with her.
yeah. If you didn't mention at the time, like, yeah, we may go for an episode 2, I didn't check the time at all, like nothing. Like I was like, what are you talking about? Like we just started. Like we just started. Like what episode? Which episode you were going? That's how it felt.
Mm,
Because like you said, it flew by. Just that balance energy, like, and she
yeah.
talks a lot into the wild, the way she described the ocean. It's one of the
Mm,
most beautiful ways I heard for a very long time, I think. It's
yeah.
only like in books that you can read that description of the ocean, like how she described it, like wild, volatile energy, and just the way she said it, and
Mm,
the energy with which he's coming. And I hope that the audience, like you feel it. It's one of those episodes where you can just close your eyes and just listen and feel into that energy,
mm,
like, and just feel into her energy, because the way she's like so honest and blunt about her story, you
mhm.
can see the level of inner work that has been going on and that's still going on, because we had a chat before we did the recording and she was saying like, oh my God, like healing never stopped. And we were discussing that, like
Mm.
she and I, we were discussing that healing never stopped. Like it
No.
just keep going. When you think like you're done, it's like never ending. And of course, our human body, mind just get like overwhelmed or done with it or tired and just want to give up and just say, yeah, I want to go back and live a normal life, like just like go to work, watch Netflix when I come back, for example. And I know some people are living that life because they are not willing to go deeper into the
Yeah,
understanding of life.
yeah,
And I know it's a stereotype when I'm saying that, but it's true. Like you're not like dwelling like or having 3 a.m. wake up calls, or like having symbols and codes coming in your dreams, or you're having those nights, like those dark moments,
yeah,
when you're questioning everything,
yes,
like even about yourself, about where you come from, or, well, the family that we have, or the connection that we have, the friends that we have, and you're
yeah.
questioning all of that. And then you say like, why did I sign up, and that's a very typical human
I want
question,
to
like,
tear up my contract. I'm done. I've had enough. I just want to get back on the hamster wheel. I know it. It's
mm,
safe. It's comfortable. It's easy. And that's fine. Like there is no judgment passed for people who want to do that, who want to put their Ugg boots on over their life and be safe and warm and comfy and know what's coming next. Okay, get up, I go to work, I deal with the same Joe Public every day, or the same work colleagues who piss me off, but I talk about them around the water cooler. I have the same lunch every day. I do the rest of my work, and at 5 o'clock, I check out, I get on the bus, I get home, I cook a meal, I sit down, I watch TV, I might have a glass of wine, and then I'm getting into bed and then I'm doing all the same shits all over again. But for those of us who choose not to be on it, and we choose to run in the rain and get wet and muddy and soggy shoes, and we deal with the discomfort of the learnings that we have about ourselves and about the people that we've come from and the extended people that we've come from and the choices that we've made. And for some of us, we have really beautiful childhoods, but we still do really fucked up shit. Or we have really shitty childhoods and we still do fucked up shit. And, we either choose to utilize that as a way to blame the other person, like Natasha was talking about, that we choose to go, well, you're a shitty person and you're a narcissistic asshole and you're this and you're that. But what was my contribution to it? And that's why I loved her perspective about it, was how many of us actually examine what we contribute to it, because she said if we have it, there's a need within us that's attracting that thing to us. Like, you know, if we don't have money, then there's a need within us to be broke ass and poor. You know, if we're physically or mentally or emotionally ill, there's a need within us that's being fulfilled by having that thing in this lifetime. And I'm sorry to say, kids, but you signed up for it. The minute you got your meat suit and you were placed here on the planet, you signed up for it. You said, this is the roller coaster I'm signing on for, and I'm going to get on and I'm going to ride it. But the problem is, your chalkboard with all of your knowing and your memories from previous lives got erased. And it's the roller coaster ride that enables you to recognize all those things that are within you. They're revelations, shall we say, that come with experiencing the twists and the turns that life chucks out at
Yeah, and
us.
you just remember, I think, like, you know, like you remember who you truly are, like, and at the core, you know, like, and when she was describing her journey, well, part of it, obviously, and like you were saying, you know, like some people, we have beautiful ch childhood. We never had like experienced those traumatic childhood experience that some people go through, unfortunately. And Natasha was speaking about that. Yet it didn't prevent her. Like there were moments in her life that her parents, like her mom said something to her, and that really created the shame, like created that sexual shame, for example, in her. And it was those moments. So sometimes it doesn't mean that whenever you had like a beautiful childhood or you grew up with loving and caring parents, great. But it doesn't mean that you don't do your inner work, you know, like you don't avoid that. You, you keep growing because your parents at that time, they did the best they could with the knowledge they had at that time. And it keep evolving with, you know, like if you read like the book Conscious Parenting, I think it's called, by Dr. Shefali. I forgot her last name, but she speak about that, how parenting keep changing over time, and we need to evolve with that time as a parents as well. It's not the same type of parenting that it was like 20 or 30 years ago. There's a difference, like, because with the kids coming in as well, some we know that are like already all sold or star seeds, like we speak about, and they already come with this knowledge, but it doesn't mean that are fully healed in the human form. It doesn't mean that. It means like they will go through human experiences that will help them to evolve to their true self. And that's what we do every single day. And we all go through those moments where we have days where we are really low. When we think we are really low, if you look at your day really and take a deep dive, maybe it's like was some minutes that you felt really low, or some hours maybe, but it's not the whole 24 hours. That's practically impossible, because people say like we go through depression, they don't want to get out of bed. But there was one moment in time there where you will think, maybe I can go for a shower, maybe I can get out and walk, or just do something in that 24 hours. And we, as spiritual beings as well, and on this spiritual journey, we all go through those moments. And you know, like when we had for example, Rahu speak about like the spiritual awakening, navigating through those dark times, and we do experience that. And hearing Natasha speaking about the dark times, and the different aspect of the divine masculine, the masculine and energy part, feminine, sorry, energies that she's talking about. And we didn't even go deep into that. And it was like just one tangent that we could have gone. But it's such a beautiful conversation, like you said, about how raw it was, because that's who we are, like that's how we should be, being raw and authentic. And when we create that safe space with people around us, you can be that person. When she was talking about her partner, how she met her partner and how beautiful it is. And I was thinking like, did it I wanted to ask that question, like, did it reach a point where you ask yourself, like, is it real? Is it like for real? Because I know for you, when you met Cam as well, it was the same. Like you told the story, and I was like going to ask her, because I told her like I had so many questions I wanted to ask you. One of them was that, but I know it's something that resonated with you more,
Yeah.
because I could see like this story of hers. You were like,
There was a lot in what she was saying
mm,
that I went, oh, I get that, and I understand that, and that excuse me, um, that is how it feels when, because like she was talking about that whole Disney concept of relationship and the savior, and being the good girl who gets the prince charming. Jesus Christ, she was literally talking about my childhood. I think my mother played the Cinderella Disney movie like 10 million billion times. It was burnt into my brain so much as I had a blue wedding dress. So, and blonde hair and the crown. I'll show you a picture one day. So the image and the concept was really, really, but and you don't recognize it until you step away from it and you go, oh my God, my dress was almost exactly to the point. If I had recreated this Disney bullshit, and unfortunately my Prince Charming was not Prince Charming. He was his own unit of a Netflix special and a big divine mess within his own right. But, we get taught that we're there to fix them, and we're, like she was saying, and we're empathic, which just means, I'm a shit taker. And I'm here to hang on to all of your emotional baggage, and I'm going to carry it all, and I'm going to heal you. And what a crock of shit. I'm so sorry. But, all you do is give yourself migraine headaches, and you look at your life and go, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what did I sign up for? Because this is not what I want a relationship to be. But it's not until you kind of, like she was saying, you start to unpack and you start to look at life and look at relationships, and then you're going, there was some big glaring like boop 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 questions that were not asked. And like she said, she had a teenage love affair that turned into a long-time relationship, but she had the big warning bells at 18. But and I could see, when she was talking about that, I could see those moments in my life where I had those big, like, clanging bells going off and going, what are you doing here? But the fear of the unknown, the fear of not knowing who I was myself, the fear of going out and doing something by myself, the thought of traveling by myself or going and experiencing life by myself, that was just so far past the realm of understanding that I had, because it was shown to me. You meet a man, you get a good job, you get married, you have babies. Like, that is the sum total, and don't get me wrong, there are so many people out there who do that and they're blissfully happy and life is good. it wasn't the deal that I signed up for. Unfortunately, I got the let's break all and shake all the branches in the family tree and let's get all the nuts out and see what they look like when they're tossed on the ground and stamped on, and let's see what a sort of a soggy mess we've got to play with, and let's see how we can regroup afterwards, right?
I can resonate, like with the Disney stories. When she was telling that, and I was reflecting in that moment, and the idea of, when you see like the princess in the tower, and it's like, I forgot which one it is. I think it's Rapunzel.
Rapunzel.
Yeah. See, I say it in French, Rapunzel. And it's like, and she needs like to be saved, all of that. And I thought that of me always trying to rescue, always trying to fix in all my previous relationship, like always doing that. And it's funny, like the one I was dating at that time were all in the princess mode. They all wanted to be saved. Like all they were waiting in the tower. And I was like, that hit me when she said that. In that instant, I was like, oh my God. It's not just like being the savior or the rescuer. It's like being that want to be the prince, or the prince going to save. Like even if you watch, like for me it was Pocahontas, Aladdin, all of that. I've been watching that. Even in Lion King, for example, I know it's not like the princess mode or whatever it is, but if you watch the story, there's always that make you feel guilty, about things if you're not embracing your true self, of whatever is happening in your life is because of you. Like that guilt, it's coming from a guilt place. If you notice the story,
And
if
it's
you
not a
we
it's not a
can
healthy
go on.
place, right?
No, it's not definitely. And when she said that, that hit me, and I was like, got it. Yeah. See, you never stop learning. When you think like you're done with that healing journey, and you think like, yeah, I work it out, it's all good, I can manage it. It's not.
No, but
It's
then
like,
it's also to the what is it about me that attracts that? What is it in my energy field that gets immediately drawn
yeah.
to the people that feel that they need to be rescued,
Mhm.
and B, where are they working this shiz out for themselves and meeting you
Mhm.
at the bottom and going, come
Mhm.
on, honey, let's run away, right?
Yeah.
But then there's that element in it too, in going, why do we need to run? So there's all of those elements that you get. But when she was describing how she met the man that she's with now, and how he had no characteristics that matched what she would normally attract, and how his energy was so completely different to what she would normally attract, it was like all the light bulbs were going off for me as well. I'm going, well, you've done all this work, and then you sort of start to date and you're going, oh no, the bell's going off because he's sounding dangerously like my ex-husband. And then you kind of move that off to the side and you start doing some more work, and then you meet someone and there's just that stillness and the calm and that knowing that this is good, without all the crazy. But don't get me wrong, like there's a level of excitement, but it's not that nervous young person energy about, oh, does he like me, does it, like it's kind of like, this is who I am. I've birthed 2 children, I've had a life, there's a lot going on. Do you want to come and join this crazy fucked up Netflix special, or would you like to just run
Yeah.
miles and miles in the opposite direction?
Because it's funny when you watch like romantic movies as well, it's always about the chasing part. Like it's called like
Yes.
the chasing part. The movie will be 1 hour and a half, let's say, and I think there's like on YouTube it's called like Hallmark movies. I don't know, it's like a romantic thing, right?
Hallmark write the books and now they've done the movies. Yeah.
There you go. See, you know it. So it's like everyone look at that, they see like that part where it's like the honeymoon phase, but
Mhm.
it's rarely shown where you're working on yourself in the relationship,
Yeah.
like during the relationship, when you have kids, when it's like going sideways, what do you do? And I was watching an interview with Michelle Obama, and she said like she went to couple therapy, and she looked at the audience. Yep, Michelle Obama and Barack Obama went to couple therapy. Yep, you hear it clearly. And she said like she brought the way she said it, it's like I brought him to be fixed. And
Yes.
she said it, she looked at the audience and said, yep. I said I brought Barack Obama to be fixed because that's what I wanted. That was my aim when I went in couple therapy. Then I understood that it's not about fixing him, it's about embracing our own self in our own ways to understand ourselves. Then we can come together,
Mm.
like and work. And that's what she said. Like relationship, it demands like that work. I don't know if there's a better word for that, but there's that constant work that you do towards yourself and towards
Mm.
each other.
Mhm.
You're constantly working. And she said, like those people that you see married for 30 years, and let's say they had 10 bad years, they will tell you that we are going to celebrate the 20 years. We are going to refuse to see that there were, it's not we are going to refuse, sorry. We we accept that we had 10 bad years, but you know
Mm.
what? We had a beautiful ride of 20 years of good times, let's
Yeah.
say. And she was giving a number.
Yeah.
And I feel like in relationship, that's what happened. We grew up with that mindset that it's only the guy, for example, like chasing the girl. And now
Yeah.
it's a bit reverse as well. And there's that disbalance as well happening at times where the
Mhm.
guys are asking like, so what is my role? So what do I do now? What do I say? And that's where the confusion as well uh, ra- uh get raised as well.
Mhm.
And with those movies, I feel that it has been ingrained in us
Yeah.
that it's only honeymoon phase. It's only the good times.
Mm.
It's so rare. And if there's a bad time in most of the movies, like it end up like really badly.
Yeah.
Like they will end up separate or they will go their own way. Yes, sometimes it doesn't work.
Mm.
When you're working on each other, on yourself, and you see, yeah, this person is not the right, and we go our separate ways in a healthy way,
And that's
then
hard.
yes.
That's hard to do, right? That's
Mm,
really hard to do, and particularly when you're part of the relationship that's doing a lot of work because you
yes.
see the need for it, but the other person is so fearful of opening the cupboard or opening the box that is themselves and looking at all of their ugly and giving it a good old flush out, knowing that they're zipping themselves up and waiting for it to fill again before they've got to unzip and flush it out again. I had this analogy last night, the 4 a.m. wake up of going, when we have unhealed emotions, it's like shaking a Coke bottle. It's like shaking a Coke bottle profusely. And for some people, that shaking can go on for 40, 50, 60, 70 years until the lid comes off. And then all of this ugliness comes out, whether that be in breakdown of familial relationships, whether that is health-wise, whether that is mental health challenges, whatever it is because all of those stored emotions need somewhere to go. And if we don't give them space and grace to come topside and see the sunlight and go, oh, okay, so that's probably fair, and that's okay, and this is how that looks, okay, no worries. Or sometimes going, oh yeah, I behaved really, really badly, because like you say, we operate with the best level of knowledge we have on any given day, and if we're not prepared to do any more learning, then we're stunting our own growth. And so many people stunt their emotional growth to the time that they're 8 years old, and they're walking around in 50-year-old bodies. Like, it just, they've never looked at it any deeper, because someone's always done everything for them and always told them that they're amazing, and that no one's ever pulled them up and gone, well, you are amazing 85% of the time. But there's that 15% that sometimes I just want to wrap my hands around your throat and strangle you, because you drive me crazy. But because I love you, I'm prepared to accept that that's part of you, but your acceptance shouldn't be to the detriment of the growth of the person that you live with. It's like, you sign up to be with someone and they look a certain way, and then over time things change. Where do you start to press the button and go, what happened? Why has that changed? Why do you no longer take care of yourself in the way that you did? Or, I think in my case, I was still in fight or flight for a long time. So I didn't gain weight. I was extremely little. And then the minute that dropped, that level of needing to escape or find escape hatches, or, this can't possibly last, it's all too good to be true. Once I settled into that space of feeling more comfortable within myself and relationship, things changed. Like, you go from being a size 6 to a good solid size 10, and then you've got all that Mel Robbins stuff where you've got to stand in the mirror and look at yourself and go, I still love myself even though I look different. But then also there's acceptance of not being in your early 40s anymore, and you're moving towards 50, and that changes everything again. So there's so many intricacies when you're working through your own stuff and working through it whilst in a relationship, and dealing with teenagers and jobs and family, and there's so many pieces to the puzzle. You hurt your brain when you try when you're trying to look at all of it. But all you can do is do your best on any given day. And I think that's the one thing I took away from Natasha yesterday, is that be curious about what you need. Be curious that enough to go in search of trying something. Try something new every month, do a little bit of something different. I got on a bike yesterday and I rode 17 kilometers because I was curious. And I did it. And it wasn't beautiful, and it wasn't pretty, and it wasn't perfect, but it was done. And I found the joy in it. And I remembered what it was like to be a teenager. Again, cruising in with my music in my ears, and it being hard work, and going, you can do this. Yes, it's freaking crazy. I'm nearly 50 years old and I'm riding a bicycle. Who cares? I had fun. And that's the thing. If we're not prepared to try these things out, how are we ever going to learn, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent? That for me was big learning yesterday.
Yeah, like there's so many things you can take from this conversation, like about even I love how open she was about the story, about her story, and being vulnerable, not having any shame about it, because she accepted those part of her, like wholly, like there's no, I don't need to go back and just say sorry to it or something like that. And, like you were speaking about the fears that you experience, like when you had those alarm bells ringing, and you knew what you got to do, but still, sorry, you didn't take the action at that time. And the fear came into play. And today, by the time of the recording, I had a meeting earlier, and the person was talking about conversation with God. And he said, like, in the book, I think he said, like, apparently fear, it's like because the core of the fear, it happens because you feel like you're separated from God. You feel that you're always separated from God. And that's why you have those fears or doubt. And I feel like for people to understand it, it's like when we have been talking about it in every single episode, when you truly surrender and let go of control and allow, like God or higher power or source, however you want to name it, to not take control, but just allow it to happen and just go with it and be with it and embrace it. And if there are days that you're meant to like, like Natasha said, like going through that shit, go for it. Like seriously, go for it. And I know like everyone we talk about that yeah, you need to think positive. I agree. But I think like we need to really embrace the negative aspect, accept it, acknowledge it, then you can shift to that positive. Then only. Because I had a client, for example, she was saying like, and I was asking her like about one thing, like how is she feeling about, like a change in her life? And she was saying like, do you want me to say it in the universe way or or in my way? And I say your way, because that's more appropriate in this instant, and that's what I that's what you're meant to say. It's not like instantly changing, like saying, oh yeah, but everything is going to be all right. No, say I'm going through shitty times and it's hard and I want to cry and I want to, like punch someone in the face. And well, don't do that, obviously. But if you have permission, yeah, like in martial arts, you are allowed to in some specific spots. Yeah. So if you have this outlet, go for it. But you have to acknowledge those moments. And that's what I like with Natasha. Like when she talk about the shadow, the dark side, it's like, yeah, it's just a friend. Like it's just my acquaintance coming through and just talking about it. And I'm good with that. And that's how it is with her energy, talking about that dark side. And that's what I felt.
Mm.
Yeah, we talk about that in our first few episodes about like accepting the shadow, like, and she described it in more ways, like giving example as well in the way she did, which I really like. And we have not yet dive into that about the masculine and feminine energy when the way she described it. And that's why I feel that I was reading that in the Course on Miracle Made Easy. I was listening rather. And in there it says like always focus on the message, not the messenger.
Yes.
Because it doesn't matter from where it's coming, from who is coming, sorry, the source of it. Just know that it's spirit speaking to
Yeah.
you. And I find that yesterday, when we did the recording,
Mm.
like last week, when she spoke about um, like the work, the writing, the journaling, the going to the beach and just being with that energy, accepting the, like her trauma, her sexual trauma, navigate through that, going to someone else, asking for help.
Yeah.
That was so beautiful. A beautiful reminders, I feel. And we didn't even dive into each of those tangents because, like you said, like we could have created like so many episodes out of it. Like
I know,
seriously.
like there's so much to learn from her experience, and she gave herself permission to explore her shadow, whereas most of us are not prepared to even walk with it. She gave herself permission to explore it in a sexual way. And not many, so many women, and a lot of women that I speak to have all lived this good girl, don't step out of line, don't embrace your wild, don't go on and being the aggressor in a relationship. Don't be any of, you be the good girl and you do as you're told, and you assume the marital position and you do the deed because it's expected and that's what you have to do. But we're in the process of being in your mid to late teenage time. Where is that? I think there's a lot missing from Western culture in giving boys and girls permission to explore their wild and what that looks like, and giving them, sort of that age-old test of when you were in the tribe so that you'd be able to go out and fend for the tribe and feed the tribe. Boys had those ritualistic tests, but I think as women, like, the minute that I wanted to sort of step out and start to explore that wild side, it was immediately shut down. There is we're Catholic and we don't do that. There was not necessarily in those terms, but that was the message that came across loud and clear. But the problem was, then you're fighting against true nature. You're kind of bottling all of that amazing, brilliant energy. Where do you put it? Where does it go? And that's a little bit like trauma and everything else. It just gets compressed in this bottle, and all of a sudden, and bless the man that I love, then the minute he met me, I was like bloody Pandora's box. It was just like, and I said, really sorry, but every question, every can we, everything, because a bit like Natasha said yesterday, there's a certain safety of when you meet the person that you're with after doing a lot of healing, provide that space for you to be exploratory in all aspects of your personality, not just sexually, but physically and mentally and emotionally and all of that sort of stuff. But they provide the really lovely dance space for you to be able to do that and know that you've got a soft place to fall, that you're not endeavoring to hold it all up for yourself. But she did make an accurate point in our conversation, is that we can talk to our own masculine side as much as you can talk to your own feminine side and go, what do I need in this situation? Like if I can't get that from a partner, or I'm not in a relationship where I can reach out and ask for that level of support, where can I give that level of support to myself, and in a healthy way? We're not going into masculine to have this gripping control on everything so that we know that, our life is going to be perfect, because really you're deluding yourself if you think that that's what it's going to be. But I would hope moving forward that we do give our children space to discover themselves in a really safe and healthy way. And if they feel that they need to go and try out all of these things, whether it's, the sexual side of themselves, or whether it's the physical side of themselves, or their emotional side, that they feel comfortable to be able to go and express what that looks like, and obviously everybody's going to have a different shade and flavor and things that work for them and things that don't. But she just had some really good button pressing moments in that episode where you went, oh, right. And I truly, truly feel that there's a lot that we can explore with her. And because she has such an open and giving nature, it feels safe and good to do that. It gives, because from my experience, there hasn't been a lot of platforms or forums where you can delve into this work and it doesn't feel grotty, or you're walking down the road of the porn industry and that sort of thing, where for most people that's their only reference point as to what things can look like in a sexual relationship and all the things that you can try out. Whereas I love the concept that Tantra is so holistic and truly balanced in its nature. And I would, I'd love to give our listeners an opportunity to hear more about it so that they can learn in that safe, comfortable environment. And it's not this shame or fear that pushes them in a direction that might not be healthy for them to explore that side of themselves. At least, by having somebody who's moved through the practice, we've got somebody who can hold space really well for them and explain it super well. But God, we could have her on the couch 10 times over, and I think, we still wouldn't scratch the surface of it.
Yeah. And I love that was the end. She just gently sneak in those questions, about trauma, and she was talking about the question you said, why do I need this? Or why do I want this?
Yeah.
And she was asking those questions to herself, because I think it come from the book Existential Kink, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. And she took it from there, and it's just beautiful, those two questions, because then I was reflecting on that as well. That was the end, and say, okay, yeah, so if I reflect on not every aspect, but start with one aspect of my life, really, did I want this? Or did I need this at that time or right now? And you start asking those questions, existential question, you can say. But
exactly. But what was it about me that A, attracted it in, and B, by it still being there, there's something within me that's not being fulfilled. So it's still there. It's still a challenge, or it's still an issue. What do I need to let go of? What do I need to better understand about myself that enables the situation to miraculously resolve itself? What is it about, that whole Disney concept in our brains that, and I think, you go back to it and you go, God, I indoctrinated my children. I played Disney all the time because as a parent, you think it's a safe option.
Yeah. Yeah. And you look at Pixar movies now, because Disney is merged like
Yeah, with
with
Pixar.
Pixar as well. And for me, I always love Pixar movies because it felt like every single movie is like a hero's journey. And if you watch Inside Out, for example, and the Inside Out 2 that came out
Mm,
especially for teenagers, and you see like about emotions, the way they project emotion is just amazing, and it's a fun way to learn. But we grew up with Disney in another facet of it, you
mm,
know. um, and I just feel that in those movies, if you really sit down and reflect, not just watching the movie just to escape, like not just to escape, and just reflect on it, what did you learn from that movie?
mm.
And I feel like even after movies now, we don't reflect on those questions anymore. We just go and rate them and just say, give like, or,
Thumbs up,
like,
thumbs down.
yeah, that's the thing. That's we do. We don't reflect on the message of it. What was the intention behind this? What did you learn from this about yourself? Because I'm pretty sure like movies that you're watching, there will be somewhere like that you're watching again. There must be something for you in there. And maybe asking
Mhm.
those questions like, why do I need to watch that movie, for example, again? Or why do I watch the rerun of TV shows like Friends? Like for me, I love Friends and Big
Or
Bang Theory.
Cheers, or Big Bang Theory, or what,
Yeah.
like
Like, and
what do
what do
we
you
get
want
from
from
it?
this? And
Mm,
what do you want? And like you said, what I'm getting from this
yeah.
out of it, like, and asking those questions, like, because, and that's where people feel like, oh, that's too much work to do.
I
you
don't
know?
want to write an English lit paper, David, every time I watch a movie.
Yes. And it's not like about writing that paper. And yesterday I had this experience with one of my clients, and I just asked her on day one, like, to write, what do you really, really, really want in life? Okay. And just write it
Oof,
down
that's a
in
big question, right?
and in detail, and what you always wanted. Okay. And then she came up with that, and she said, I want this, and that. And all I said was, can you change it like to I am or I have in present tense, and do it in a one paragraph, like a story that you're telling yourself? And she went on a rant. She had a go at me like big time. And I was really shocked by that behavior, because I was reflecting on that. And I was asking, like, so we reach a point in our life when we just tell people, because the exercise was about writing it down on paper, and she didn't want to do that. And for her, that involved a lot of work, a lot of hours of just rewriting it. And I was reflecting back in the days when we were at school, when you were told like to rewrite a paragraph, like using your pen or pencil, like even pencil, right? And if, and you don't even question it. And now, and I was like, where is that coming from?
Mm.
Why is it so difficult for people now? And I was telling her, it's so simple. And I was speaking in that voice, like, it's so simple, right? Like, just to change that sentence from I want to I am, or I have, I'm living this, I'm enjoying this, you know?
This is my daily life,
And
I
this is,
I get to I get
mm,
to get up early in the morning, and I get to
yeah,
walk my neighborhood, and I get to nourish my body, and I get to
exactly.
go to, how does God describe it? The joy place every
Yes.
day,
Yeah.
and I get to create some form of impact in the
Mm,
world every single day.
yeah.
It language, I'm talking to our teenagers about it at the moment. Languaging is
Mm,
so important
it
as
is.
to who we are, what we
Mm,
attract, what our life looks like. In We have one who loves to talk very much in a glass half empty, and is very negative in his language
yeah.
towards another. And look, there's a certain element of boys will be, and I hate it because it drives me mad. Boys will be boys, and that's just what brothers do. And I'm like, common decency, human decency, is that we each treat one another with respect and with kindness and gentleness. What gives you the right to call someone a turd or a this or a, like, there's just no, that's not okay. This is my house and you're putting that yuck in my home. I don't want my home to feel like that. And if you feel like that and you feel that you need to expel it, then maybe we need to have a conversation. But we all need to be very mindful about our languaging, not only the languaging externally of how we talk to other people, but the languaging that goes on up in here and the languaging we choose to use for ourselves when we grace ourselves in the mirror every morning and go, oh, fuck, crazy hair. You know, like, instead of good morning, sunshine, how are you today? You know, I'm not doing the stupid positivity, but it's a choice.
And it's like the Dr. Joy Dispenza who said, reframing, you're rewiring your neural pathways to focus on things that you want, and like your brain literally doesn't know what's real or not. Like your subconscious can't differentiate what's real or not. Because there's so many experiments that has been done. Even like, for example, about growing your bicep, for example, and there was an experiment over 6 weeks that was done. And it's crazy. Those who didn't go to the gym and just visualize like every single time, it like their muscle was stimulated the same way like they were in the gym. At the same time, like,
isn't it amazing to think that we could create gym bodies just in our brains?
Yes. Yeah, but don't think now we are saying that people won't go to the gym. Look, if this is your jam, go for it. But it's like to tell you how powerful when you combine your physical exercise with your mental exercise. And just imagine, like, that's why, like, Stephen Curry will tell you that, or Michael Jordan will say that. Even Michael Phelps will talk about that, how he visualized each stroke, like every single one, perfection. Like every single morning or before going to bed, that was his job. That he was doing.
Yeah.
So same, like we can heal ourselves, like in the same way, and just visualize that. For me, like for example, I've been experiencing that with my throat and just visualizing it, and the magic like just happened, like literally just happened. It's not like an overnight process, but it just happened. It started healing.
Well, Joe Dispenza talked about that after he had that massive car accident, how he visualized healing his spine, because they were all very much about wanting to do all the surgery and filling full of nuts and bolts. And he said it took him like, I think 10 days before he could complete the meditation from top to bottom without interrupting cows jumping in to his brain and diverting his attention away from what he was trying to do. But I think with to bring it back to our episode with Natasha, she's found a way to create the balance in her life through her mental practice, her physical practice, her spiritual practice, her sexual practice, like all of these aspects, she's endeavored to find the balance that works for her. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for everybody, because it's not going to be everybody's jam, but for her and for her lifestyle, it works for her. And I think for everybody to give themselves space and time to be experimental and give ourselves permission to be experimental, that it's okay to try things on for size and see if we like them or see if we don't, but having a space in which we can be honest, A, with ourselves, or B, with the person that we're with, and saying, I've been thinking about this, I wouldn't mind giving that a go. What do you think? Because they too also have to be comfortable to provide the space or to do the things that you're asking them to do, whether it's climbing Mount Fuji or whether it's, experimenting in the bedroom. You've got to give people time to process that. Simply because you're ready to go and have a crack at that doesn't mean that they're going to be ready to jump on board the train with you and say, yes, let's do this. Don't just automatically drop it into conversation. Maybe ask some questions. Ask some open-ended good questions and see whether, you're on the same page, or whether that's something you've just got to place in your parking lot for a little bit until they can kind of come around to the same realization that maybe they would like to experiment in whatever it is with you. Or give yourself permission, go do it by yourself. Try it out. See how it looks. And then, but if you are in a relationship, be honest and tell people what you're doing. Don't hide shit, because it's not fair. Have a level of respect for yourself, but also a level of respect for the person that you're with, and give them that. And honestly, we could have Natasha back 10 times over, and don't be surprised if you see a series where she becomes our co-host for quite a few episodes, because I think there's a lot to explore in that, and it's going to be fun riding that roller coaster with her. So do you have any last thoughts to chuck on the experimental train today, my friend?
Oh yeah, but there are so many that we can talk about, but
Oh God, yeah.
I think like the question about like why do I need this or why do I want this? Same like Natasha left us with that question. That's what I'm going to ask the audience to reflect on. And we can do all the talking, but until we take the action to actually sit and do that work, that's when you see the change happening. And that's what we wish for our audience, that not just listening to the fun conversation, to the, like F bomb dropping all the time, depending on who it is, especially with Tina.
I've been really good lately. Come on.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I haven't had to drop it in a long time. So I've been.
Which is weird. Like we are not like doing an R-rated episode. But no, it's been like really fun conversation that we always have. And it's not just people enjoying that. Yeah, we appreciate that you enjoy that.
Yeah.
But do the work. Because when you're going to listen to Natasha's and the beauty of doing the work, and like the reward in terms of her partner, the way she described it, it's like, yeah, can feel that. You don't need to show, we just can feel it. That's all.
Correct. And it's worth it.
It's worth it.
From experience, it's worth it. It might
And
feel ugly
you are
and
worth
revolting,
it.
and you're worth doing the work. So worth doing the work.
Yeah.
And if you can't find a romantic partner, find a bestie, someone who's on the same playing field, who will listen to your crap and then go, do the work. Like I have, and like I have done to him in the past as well. So I think on that note, we will sign off for today. As always, such a pleasure chatting with you and reflecting on the beautiful people that we have join us on the Divine Virtual Couch. So we love you. Thank you so much for sharing your most precious resource, which is your time. And Ask yourselves those really important questions. Even if you need to go to the beach, put your feet in the sand, or find a lake, or find somewhere, go sit down and ask, do I need this? Why do I have it in my life? And see what you come up with. And until then, we will speak with you next week.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.